Now we're talking to you about answered prayer, how to receive from God. In Ephesians or Philippians, I forget, 4:6 it says, make your request known unto God. Now when you tell God what you need, you don't have to tell anybody else. Now I do this when I'm teaching in a public meeting, but I want to get this across to you today. I go up to somebody and I say, I've got to have $100. Will you let me have $100? And they say, well, I don't have $100. And then I say, well, I'll tell you what, do you have $100 in the bank? They say, yeah. I said, well, you get me $100 in the morning and I'll come pick it up. And they say, well, sure, I'll be glad to do that. Well, then after I've done that, I turn to somebody else in that meeting and say, I really need $100. Will you let me have $100? And they say, well, sure. Now watch this. What I have done is I've called the first person that I asked a liar and not truthful to his word, because he said he was going to get it for me tomorrow. Now that's what you're doing when you go to God in prayer and then you write an appeal letter or you go to your mother-in-law. What you're doing is you're saying God didn't hear me, or either God doesn't love me, or God's not going to answer my prayer and I got to go to somebody else. Let your requests be made known unto God, because it's He that answers you. And Jesus said this, that God gets much pleasure out of your answered prayers. I told you this a couple of days ago. When we do something for our children, it gives us pleasure, even though our children are in their 40s now. It still gives us pleasure that they went to us and not the bank, or they went to us and not the credit union. So here's what I'm going to say to you today. Just like if I ask somebody else for $100 and they say they'll get it for me tomorrow, if I believe that, then I don't turn and ask somebody else. So when you go to God and you make your request known unto God, and you are expecting God to answer that prayer, you don't have to write an appeal letter if you're in the ministry. You don't have to share your needs with the congregation. You don't have to go to your mother-in-law or your mother or father, because God heard your prayer. God's going to answer the prayer. And if you believe that, don't tell nobody else. Y'all get that? I did. Praise God. Hey, you have a great day, and you remember today, Jesus is Lord. Thank God the Word works.